Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show podcast, the podcast show where we unlock potential one dream at a time. Today, we have another guest whose journey is truly worth hearing. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Moneyway experience.
What's up, my good people? Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show. Today, I have on the show this vibrant woman of energy who comes to the show with a positive and authentic vibe. Welcome to the show, Adrienne Simmons. How you doing today, Adrienne?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, and thank you for welcoming me to your show. I am honored.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being a part of it. So, Adrienne, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your background.
Thank you. Absolutely. About myself, that's the first question I always get asked. And it's like, okay, how am I going to respond this time? You go with your vibe, you go with your flow. So a bit about Adrienne. Adrienne, and I'm just tying it into the reason why, you asked me to be onto your show. I am an advocate about everybody living their life with vitality. And the reason why I am such an advocate, and I like to say I am a champion and I am a motivator, and it drives me and it's what wakes me up every day, is because of the fact we don't know what we will have tomorrow. Every time you turn on the radio, turn on the TV, looking through your socials, fatal accident, someone got killed, someone got shot. You hear about the wars overseas. And every time and every single day when I hear that type of news, it reinforces to me, life is precious and life can be taken away from us in a split second. Yep. Every person who passes away today, they had no idea when they woke up this morning that today would be their last day. Yeah. So because I keep on hearing and as a result feeling a sadness, especially for those individuals who it was an accident. It's not like they were in an actual confrontation with someone. Because when you are, and especially depending on the confrontation, you may know that, either I'm going to get killed or he or she's going to get killed. But when it's simply an accident, for me, that reinforces every single day, I'm going to live it to the max because I don't know if I'm going to have another moment. So that's who I am. I am an advocate for everybody. And especially if you really, really want to show up and show up alert and show up present and show up full of life, why not? I believe it is our birthright. The fact that we were, just by virtue of the fact that we were born to live a life of vitality. I do not believe that God meant for us to live a life on default, a life on low energy, a life not living to our maximum potential. I believe God granted all of us who are currently who are alive, who had the right to be born, live your life to the max. And so that's who I am, and that's what drives Adrienne.
You said something. It was two things that you said, because just the other day, last Sunday, I had a partner, went out to a nightclub and got shot in his ribs. And God bless him that it didn't hit no arteries or no major arteries or anything, and they was able to get the bullet out. So like you say, tomorrow's not promised. And that's in the word. Tomorrow's not promised to none of us. And as you was telling the story, I was thinking about something that I used to say a long time ago. It's like a family is on their way to Great America, right? Here we got Great America. Or, they're Niagara Falls, and you go into the bank and you go get tickets and things of that nature. And just, you finna go out and have fun with your family. And somebody comes in and rob the place. They come in and rob the tech credit union that you're going to get your tickets from. And the person, the father or whatever, they get killed. They, like you say, They didn't wake up that morning thinking that, this was going to happen. You had something else on your mind to have a joyous occasion, and then something tragic happened. So I agree with you 100%. Tomorrow is not promised, and you never know it. So let's live life to the fullest. And I appreciate you giving that narrative like that, Adrienne. So could you share with us some of your experiences with having energy or the lack of it?
Absolutely. Before I go into my personal story, I like to ask my audience and my host just 2 questions to think about, keep it inside, and I will come back to it at the end of my presentation. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, CJ, and your audience to think about, do you remember the movie Aladdin and the Magic Lamp? The cartoon movie, the Disney movie, Aladdin and the Lamp. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you remember when Aladdin stumbled upon the lamp, unbeknownst to him, when he rubbed it, a genie came out of the lamp, and the genie granted him 3 wishes. Do you remember that? Is that familiar to you?
I know the story. I can't remember the movie Atlantic, but I know what you're talking about, though.
Okay, all right. And hopefully your audience will resonate with it as well, too. I'm mentioning it because, yes, even though it's a fairy tale, what made the story so exciting was the fact that a genie granted Aladdin 3 wishes. And for a lot of people, it's, am I going to wish for something that I need, something that I want, something that is only going to be for me, something that might benefit mankind? Each individual uses their thought process either for themselves or something that they can use to benefit the world. So that's the first thing I want all of you just to keep in mind. If you had a genie, would you wish for something that would only be for you and would benefit you? Or would you wish for something that might benefit the world around you? Number 2, if you woke up tomorrow morning, and your audience as well too, if any of you, when you wake up tomorrow morning, if you wake up and you have an abundance of energy, a surplus of energy, boundless energy, and you realize, wow, I feel like Superman, I feel like Superwoman, I'm going to get this done and this done and this done and this done. How different would your tomorrow look than your yesterday when you did not have all that boundless energy? So again, I'm asking you and your audience to stretch your imagination, to think outside the box. If you had boundless energy, an abundance of energy, what would you do? How would your day look different tomorrow than it did yesterday? Okay, so where does my passion, where does my advocacy, where does my championing, my belief in living life with vitality come from? Because I had vitality and I lost it. So my story is of lost and found. CJ, growing up, I had boundless energy. My 20s, my 30s, even into my late 40s. I could do what I want. I could eat what I want. I could stay up as late as I wanted to stay up, drink, drug, party, not a problem. I could still get up and go to work. They used to call me the Energizer Bunny. You remember that bunny on TV that goes and goes and goes?
Yeah.
That's what everybody who knew me used to call me up to my late 40s. Adrienne, you're like that Energizer Bunny. Where do you're just going and going. Where do you get all your energy from? I don't know. That's just kind of who I was. And then CJ, I crossed over my 50-year line. I didn't know then what I know now, but as you get older, your hormones change and you cannot keep up with the same behaviors forever. And I found that out the hard way as I moved into 51 and 52. Oh, I forgot to tell you, when I crossed over my 50-year line, my daughter left and she went to university abroad. Now, I have been a single mother, so it's only been her and I from the time that she was 3. So it was her and I like this, up until she went away for university. But because it was just her and I, she was always my first priority. I was always there. I was always home for her. I always had her involved in different after school activities. So her and I were on the go all the time. I kept her up with me, and she kept up with her mom as well too. But then she leaves and goes away to university. And I'm coming home the first couple of weeks after she left, and I'm realizing, God, the house is kind of quiet. Because remember, it was only her and I all those years now. Mm-hmm. And that's when I remembered, oh, this is what they talk about when they say that empty nest syndrome. Mm. And you know what? As I tried to come home. But after a couple of weeks, I realized, this is not me. I'm so used to being busy with my daughter. And now I'm coming home with nothing to do. So what do I start doing? Start going out after work. Initially, it just started with a couple of dinners. Then I'd come home at 9. Come home at 9, I'm sitting there bored because I'm just full of energy. After 9, I started going out. Well, let me see if I can find a club now. So I start finding clubs. And remember, this is during the week. I'm working now, but I got a whole lot of energy. And I don't know if you know, but when you spend that much time in the club, you get to know certain individuals. I then discovered after hours. You mean I can go and party after 2 o'clock in the morning? Yeah. I can keep on drinking. I can keep on drugging. And so over the years, 51, 52, 53, that kind of became my pattern. Not necessarily every single day during the work week, because every Monday it would be, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I know it's not good for me. But you see, by Wednesday, I'm feeling restless. I know where everything is now. I know where to go after work. I know where to go at 11 o'clock. And I now know where to go at 2 o'clock in the a.m. Mm-hmm. So my life became a lot of alcohol, a lot of party drugs, and a lot of rock and roll. Mm. And I would say that probably by the time I got to my mid-50s, if we're looking at a scale out of 10, most days, my fatigue had me at maybe a 3 or a 4 out of 10. I dragged myself. Maybe I had 2-3 hours sleep, especially if I decided to go out during the week. On weekends, it was sometimes 24 hours. I was just I was nonstop. Mm. It started to affect my performance at work. I gained a whole lot of weight because I'm eating a whole lot of processed foods. I'm eating a whole lot of sugary foods. And when my fatigue got that bad, I got introduced to coffee and I realized, it'll perk me up. Yeah. So at work, I'm just kind of living on coffee at work and fast foods because it's the quickest thing because I don't have time to go home and cook any nutritionally based foods because I'm on the go all the time. So not realizing that with my hormonal changes and with the lifestyle choices that I was making, my body just said, I can't do it anymore, Adrienne. You've been putting all this burden on me all these years because we don't realize as human beings, as we make unhealthy lifestyle choices, our bodies are doing its best to hold us up. But after a while, the body goes, I can't bear the weight anymore. And that's when we feel a little pain here, a little pain here, a little ache here, a little stress here, a little something here. And that's our body saying, hello. But anyways, let me just get back on track. So I'm almost 50. I'm 55 now. I'm going in for my yearly checkup. I go in every year. That's just kind of something routine for me. And when I go in this time, the first thing the doctor says is, Adrienne, you look terrible. What's going on? And I kind of stopped and I said, because you remember, you don't see yourself. Mm-hmm. You don't see yourself. But he hasn't seen me for a year now. So he's noticing right away a big change in me, the bags under my eye, the increased weight, and I'm just moving slower. He goes, I've known you for years. You've always been full of energy. What's going on? You look like you've aged. Now, remember, CJ, growing up, you heard the same thing, and I know your audience is. You know when your parents are talking and as a little kid, you're hearing in the background? Mm-hmm. She's in her 50s. She's supposed to be slowing down. He's in his 60s. He's supposed to be feeling aches and pains. We hear all of this chatter around us, so we believe it to be true. Yeah. So I said to my doc, I'm 55. I'm supposed to be looking like this. He goes, Adrienne, not at all. Not at all. That is just a belief that some people are kind of indoctrinated to, not realizing it's really based on your lifestyle choices. I can see right away, Adrienne, you are not doing well. You brush it off, right? You brush it off when you hear things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then my blood test came in, and my blood test indicated I was pre-diabetic. Now, CJ, prior to that, my checkups are always fantastic. Hearing that made me sit up a little bit. It's like, oh, okay, because with diabetes, it's always, what it means.
Yeah.
And then to compound the fact, my father died of his diabetes in his late 60s. So that's the second thing I'm thinking of. Well, if I'm 55, that means I could be dead in another 12 years. That made me sit up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And then, do you know Betty White? Do you remember the actress Betty White?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but she died at 99. And right up until the end, she was still co-producing on a few comedy sitcoms. So for me, she represented a person living with vitality right up till 99. She was always out there. She was always active and healthy. So for me, she was an individual that I always admired. It's like, I'm going to be just like Betty White. I'm going to be 99 and I'm going to be full of energy. But again, hearing the diagnosis, hearing what my doctor is saying about me when he's physically looking at me, thinking about my father in 12 years, I could pass away. All of that made me sit up and say, you know what? Maybe I should be really looking at my lifestyle choices. But again, you say things, but you keep on going.
Yeah.
This was probably maybe in the fall, maybe September, October, November. I don't really remember. CJ, it all came to a head because you know that you get to the bottom of the pit and you can't go any lower except for up. So for me, it was the following January. It was a bitterly cold winter in Toronto, maybe minus 30 degrees. And I was still smoking cigarettes back then. Never smoked in the house out of respect for my daughter. I always smoked in my garage. Because it was that cold, took me 10 minutes to layer up all of these clothes just to walk to my garage. I'm sitting in my garage. I got to take the gloves off because you don't want to burn the gloves, right? You're smoking. And I'm smoking and I'm freezing cold. And CJ, I burst out crying. I just broke. And I said, God, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm ashamed. I'm disappointed. I cannot believe that I have allowed myself to get to this pit where I am right now, where all I'm looking forward to is I can't wait to finish work so I can get to the club because that's where the excitement is, and that's where I can get all of my highs. It broke me. And I cried until I guess I couldn't cry anymore. I don't know how long I sat in that cold garage. All I know, CJ, is what can I say? God answers. I believe that's just what I believe, that God answers our prayers. All I notice is that over the next couple of weeks, I didn't have that same pull to kind of go out all the time. I don't know why. I was kind of okay to kind of come home. And then when I was grocery shopping, I was kind of okay to maybe get a little bit more vegetables and fruits. I don't know why. Like, processed food, it's easier. Let me pop it in the microwave.
Yeah.
And then it was, you know what? I want to join the gym. I just said one day, I want to join the gym. I don't know where it came from. So all of these small changes started happening inside of me. And I realized, because I started every day with a mindset of, I want to live a healthier lifestyle. So I believe it's because of the mindset. I was self-talking to myself and not realizing, because of the connection from mind to emotion and physically, I'm physically now manifesting what my mindset is now telling me. You know what, Adrienne? You say you want a healthier life. You say you want this. Okay, here's the urge to go for a walk now. Here's the urge to pick up some asparagus right now. Here's the urge to come home instead. Long story short, I said, you know what? I'm going to use myself as an actual test. I kind of put together a little nutritional plan, kind of started working with a personal trainer. I stopped hanging out with that party crowd. I built and connected a social crowd of maturing females who are on a journey of fitness and vitality. So I built a healthier network. And I started spending more times outdoors in nature. I'm going to say over a 12-month period, from that 3 to 4 out of 10, where I was when I was fatigued day in and day out, I rebuilt my energy based on newer, healthier lifestyle choices that became habits for me, to where my energy rose back up to an 8 to a 9. Some days I got 10 out of 10 energy, positive energy, and I'm still consistently maintaining that 8 to a 9 out of 10 in energy. From the time I wake up in the morning to the time I put my head down, I have sustainable high levels of energy. And that's my personal story. Now, as a result of that, CJ, people started complimenting me. You're just looking so energetic all of a sudden, Adrienne. What are you doing differently? I love your step right now. I see a newness in you. And for me, it's like, okay. I didn't realize, I didn't put the connection together that it was because of my healthy lifestyle choices that was giving me this renewed energy. I just figured, I don't know. You don't think about it until you're forced to think about it. But people kept on complimenting me. Even during COVID, when we had to now connect with everybody on the screen, though, I do a lot of presentations as part of my full-time job. And every time I would finish with my presentation and I'm opening up the floor for Q&A, CJ, I expect people to ask me questions about the content of what I just presented. You know what they would ask me instead? I love your energy. Oh my God, I love your energy. If I had your energy, what are you doing? And I said, well, hold on. This topic today is about whatever it might be. For me, it was just, and I kept on realizing, okay, people are so excited about my energy. That's when I put 2 and 2 together. Energy is a commodity for people who don't have it. People who are living with various levels of chronic fatigue, for them, if they had energy, that would be a commodity that's worth more than gold. Because when you do not have energy, there is so much that you are just not able to do, because your chronic fatigue is the one that's saying, we ain't doing any more today. We ain't doing any more today. Sit down. So your chronic fatigue is telling you what you can do. And you shouldn't be living your life like that. You should be saying to your chronic fatigue, bye-bye. Bye-bye. I got things to do today. So basically, a light bulb came on in my head and I said, you know what, Adrienne? All these people are complimenting you about your energy. You figured out a way to rebuild your own energy levels. Why don't you do the same thing for others? And that's when I created the Energy Edge, Unlock Your Body's Energy Potential coaching program.
Getting engaged can be stressful. Getting the right ring won't be at BlueNile.com. The jewelers at BlueNile.com have sparkle down to a science with beautiful lab-grown diamonds worthy of your most brilliant moments. Their lab-grown diamonds are independently graded and guaranteed identical to natural diamonds and ready to ship to your door. Get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code POD at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com, code POD for $50 off.
Don't miss out on CJ Moneyway's book, Both Eyes Open and Both Eyes Shut. And get ready to pre-order his upcoming release, The Issues of Life, coming soon. Moneyway, aiming to inspire.
So, you said a lot there. And I mean, good information. I mean, everything that you said was like really on point. And I like the transparency that you brought about, because like we talked about earlier, that's the whole thing, the whole, like, okay, Adrienne got all this energy right now, but Adrienne say that she went through some things, and you didn't say depression, but your daughter being away and you feeling lonely, going to the clubs and hanging out. Yeah, I know about them after hour joints, because I stayed in Detroit for a little while. That's where I got introduced to the after hours, after the club is the after party. Hey, but that's a lot. I like the way that you bounce back. And so, speaking about Energy Edge, Unlock Your Potential. Tell us a little bit about your coaching program.
My coaching program is customized based on my clients' objectives. But the basic foundational principles, because there are some basic principles, and then I obviously adjust it to you. It starts off with your mindset. I believe no change can happen until the change happens in your mind. So we start off by figuring out your ground zero. Where are you right now? Why do you want help at this time through a coach? You know, I need to decide, maybe this person doesn't need coaching. Maybe it's a little bit deeper and maybe it's therapy. So I do not accept everybody that comes to me. I need to find out, is there a synergy? So we start off with the mindset. And then once the mindset is, okay, you know what? Okay, I know my why. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go through the homework and the grind and whatever. Because an individual also has to realize this is not going to be a walk in the park, though. A coach is not going to give you the answers. You need to do the work and the answers will be revealed. I like to tell everybody, it's amazing the power we have inside. You already know the answer, but a coach is there just to help you uncover it based on the action steps that the coach has kind of put together for you. So it's the mindset, and then it is creating an actual plan based on what you want to achieve, because you're coming to me based on something that you want to achieve in your life, though. So then I put together an action plan that gets you from where you are now to what you want to achieve. There's obviously checklists, there's homework, there's accountability also built in. But over the 12 weeks, whatever you have decided that you want to achieve in your life around your energy, I focus on helping you rebuild your energy so you can get back to life and do what you have to do. My program will take you through that.
So you said something that I was thinking about when you said it, that the person, they already have it. They already have the answers within them. And so, like, just dealing with that, what's the common problem that people don't, you know what I'm saying, like, come out and say what's wrong with them, you know? So how do you get that out of that person? Or is it the step that they made to, you know, how sometimes where we don't want help. But when you make that effort to get help, is that what, you know what I'm saying, like may open somebody up when they come to you about this type of program?
That's an excellent question. Excellent question. Why I say that we all have the answer within us is because God has blessed us with everything that we need to know. If you have a question, it's because you already know the answer inside, and the question is kind of nudging you to bring it forth. Now, your second question is, if we already have it inside of us, why don't we reach inside ourselves and bring forth the answer? And from my own knowledge and my perspective, it's because a lot of people, if you are not in tune with your spirit, if you are not in tune with who you are as a connection to God, you're not even thinking that you have the answer inside. Someone has to tell you. Someone have to tell me too, because, you know, back in them days, I wasn't thinking that way at all. I wasn't thinking, well, Adrienne, you know, for you to change your life, it starts inside. I didn't know that until I learned it. So that's why there's so many of us out there trying to teach people that you have the answer inside. So people don't do it themselves because A, they don't know that they have it inside, and B, they don't know how to bring it forth. Okay, so you've convinced me, Adrienne, that the answer is inside. How do I now bring it forth? You bring it forth through quietening your mind. You bring it forth through that connection to God. And for a lot of people, that's through meditation. You know, so much is revealed. If you are able to quiet your mind, just quiet your mind and ask the questions, anything you need to know, just ask it through meditation and then just be quiet. But you see, CJ, we're busy. We're busy. From the time we wake up, we're on our phones And you know what? Our minds are just busy. So our minds are filled with this. And then maybe the roads are busy and we're frustrated and we're going through traffic and we're late to get to work. So it's on our mind. Oh my God, I'm going to be late again. And I have a presentation. And then you get to work and your day starts off in a flurry and your mind is go, 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 go. The answer might be there, but you are so busy with what's going on in your mind. You don't even realize that the answer is there. You asked me, anything you ask for, God will grant it. But you need to quiet yourself. But most people, they're go, go, go. And if you are addicted to this here, and you know what I mean when I'm doing this, you know what I'm looking at, right? If you are addicted, then you know what?
I know. Last week I just interviewed a young lady. She's going to start a podcast. I'm working with her. And I told her, she's a mother of 3. She's about to get married. And it's funny, just like what you said. And I told her, I said, normally what happens, especially with women, you wake up every day, because you said something to that effect with you and your daughter, how you come home and, you and your daughter on the move all the time. And so a mother, you come home, take care of the kids, cook, clean, help them with their homework, go to bed, get up the next morning, doing the same thing. And so you just steadily, everything is in repetition, So as you were saying, and as I was telling her, when do you ever have time to actually sit down and listen to the voice of God? When do you ever have time to even sit down and read the word of God? Because we just constantly, like you were saying, just doing things, my mind busy. And, I ain't got time to focus on God right now. God, I get with you later. And so instead of centering our lives around God, we try to center him around our lives. And that's just not how it is. I mean, that's life. And as you do, as far as your coaching and everything, I feel as though people, like what we're doing, he has put us in position to help others, and let's go to the question that you asked earlier. If you had the genie, what would you do? And me personally, I would want to be blessed to be a blessing to others. Because I've come to a point in life where I realized, Adrienne, that everything is not about me. Even what I'm doing, it may not be for me. I remember the book where it talked about David. He wanted to build the temple for God. He said, nah. He said, your son Solomon gonna do it. You did this. They say Solomon gonna. So sometimes we just pave the way for others, and so if I had a wish from a genie, I would ask to be a blessing. That's my answer to that question.
You know what? And that's a beautiful segue into me sharing with you and your audience why I initially asked you those 2 questions. So you remember the first one was a genie, and a genie is capable of granting wishes. Yes, in the fairy tale world. And the second one was, if you had an abundance of energy, what more would you do with your day? What new projects would you start? Would you go back to school? Would you be more interactive in your children's lives? Would you make love to your partner more often? Would you now say, I'm getting ready to travel because I have that physical energy to travel? That's why I asked all of you to just put your thinking caps on and just think beyond. You're right. Wow. If I was Superman, what else would I do in a realistic world? Like, we need to be realistic. I'm not saying you would get up and fly, but in a realistic world, how much more would you do if you had this energy? So the reason why I asked all of you to think about that is because I want you and your audience to know we all have a genie inside of us. And that genie is our beautiful, precious temple that God has blessed us with. And this temple has so much power. It has the power to heal us naturally. It has the power to give us an abundance of energy. It has the power to bring us so much joy and happiness that we can live a life of complete joy and happiness. This is ours. This is ours. We already own it. The genie is inside of us. And so the genie is just saying, okay, all I need from you, CJ, is I need you to follow just 7 principles every day.
Mm.
I just need you to follow 7 simple principles. I just need 7 things from you. And if you do that for me, I will grant you an abundance of energy, boundless energy from sunrise to sunset. CJ, may I share those 7 things that your genie and my genie asked for? Do we have time for that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Beautiful. Nutrition.
Mm.
We are all living organisms. We are, at our core, we are just a living organism. And as such, we are connected to other living organisms. And one of those other living organisms are foods that come from the soil, the earth, other living organisms. Our bodies need foods that come from a root. More foods that you get on the outer aisles than you get on the inside aisles. Nutrition. Next is movement. Because we are living organism, an organism moves. An organism does not stop. An organism keeps on moving. Our bodies are saying, you know what? You and I are a living organism. Your genie says, I need to move every day. And CJ, you already know about people who are not getting enough movement in their life. I don't even need to get into that. Your body is saying, genie is saying, you know what? Just give me some movement, and I will reward you. Next, emotional stress management. How are we managing our stress? Some stress is good. Some stress gets us into action, but it's the stress that is prolonged and the stress that doesn't have us feeling the best that we need to check ourselves with. We need to be more aware of our emotional management. We need to be more aware of how we're feeling. Sometimes we know we're not feeling good, but we just brush it off and it keeps on growing. Next is mindset, our thoughts. What are we thinking? We already know about mindset already. We already know what you think. Energy flows wherever the mind goes. Next is healthy relationships, social networks. When you are spending time, the people that you spend the most time with in your life every day, when you're with them, are you feeling joy and happiness? Or are you saying to yourself, Jesus, I wish, are they ready to leave yet? And when they leave you, you feel depleted. You don't feel filled up with joy. Healthy relationships. Next, time outdoors. I like to tell people, Mother Nature for free, she does not charge us. But look what she does for us. We have beautiful vegetation and flowers and plants that give us so much joy to see them. Oh, wow, that's beautiful. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that smells so good. She doesn't charge us for that. The oxygen that we get to breathe, she doesn't charge us for that. What about when we're sitting in front of the water, the ocean? We all go to the beach in the ocean and we look out and it's like, wow, that's beautiful. That's filling up our emotional wellness, our mental wellness, our spiritual wellness. The ocean doesn't charge us. Time outdoors in Mother Nature. Sunshine. Imagine if we lived on an earth with no sunshine. Look what the sun does for us. Yes, she gives us that vitamin E, but she gives us warmth. Oh, what a lovely warm day. I know it's hot where you are right now, but on a nice comfortable day with the sun shining and the blue is shining.
Yeah.
These 7 things. Oh, and the 7th one, sleep. So much happens to our bodies when we are sleeping, so much healing of toxins and germs and stuff we might have consumed ourselves and just stuff from the environment that it just normally, naturally comes into us. All of that is cleaned out when we sleep. So the more hours that we give our precious bodies to sleep, the more time our bodies have to clean us out. If we follow these 7 simple rules, our genie says, you know what you did for me? Your wish is my command. Here you go, energy. Here you go, energy. Here you go, energy. And that's why every day when I wake up, after my gratitude, after my thanks, my next statement is, my intention today is I'm going to build a healthy energy body. And that means, Adrienne, the lifestyle choices I'm going to be making throughout my day. And that's why I have energy from sunrise to sunset.
Oh man, that's awesome. And just like I told the guy from Canada yesterday that I interviewed, and I'm going to tell you the same thing. Some things are just not meant to be added on. You had said it all. There's nothing for me to say. You know, you the expert in this, and I'm getting so much from it, from what you're saying. That's why I'm listening intensively. Hey, all I have to say is, Adrienne, is there anything else that you would like to share before we leave today?
I usually end up by saying that we have a choice on how we live every day. We have a choice. We can live it just kind of minimally, You know what? No extra effort. Or we can say, you know what? I want to do a lot of things today.
Yeah.
And I'm going to need some energy to do those things. And I want to do it because, you know what? It's a burning desire inside of me. I need to do all of these things. I need to do more of these things. I need to tackle my garage. I've been putting it off for years. I need to get my garage cleaned out. I've wanted to go back to school. I have the money right now, but I've been tired. You need to have a why. If you have a why that you know what, I need to do something, but you're just tired and you don't know why you're tired. But if you had a little bit more energy, you could get closer to your why. You can. You absolutely can. Your genie is just there waiting to grant you that wish.
Well,
live your life with vitality.
Oh man, I'm gonna search out for that genie. That's the temple within me. Hey, I think that's a good analogy. That's a good way to put it. So Adrienne, how can we find you on your social media outlets or your channels or anything?
Yeah, the easiest way to get through to me right now is to email me. My website is currently being rebuilt. Hopefully I'll have it done shortly. But for now, they can just email me directly at Simmons, that's SIMMONS 2020, and then the letter A at gmail.com.
Okay.
So Simmons2020A at gmail.com. And then from there, I will share with them all of my social links.
Oh man, appreciate you. Appreciate you coming on today. Appreciate you sharing your wisdom and your understanding and, being transparent with what the things that you talked about. And man, like I said, I'm not gonna add on to that because you gave us a lot and I'm full right now. I'm full with some ideas and some things, because as you say, a lot of us, as far as nutrition and as far as the way that we treat our bodies and the things that we eat and the habits that we pick up. And, I'm guilty of it myself. So I'm not going to sit here. That's why I'm saying, that's why I'm really, really listening, because as you said, as the doctor told you, sometimes you be like, I don't want to hear all that. And you push it to the side. I don't want to hear all that. But, but then when you do come across some things or somebody say something, sometimes God put people in your path at that moment because it's something that you need to learn from that, or it's something that you need to get from that. And there's a lot that you talked about today that I got from. So I appreciate you, Adrienne, coming on the show today. Hey, go check out our program, Energy Edge, Unlock Your Potential with Adrienne Simmons. Hey, you have been listening to the CJ Moneyway Show. We out of here. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the CJ Moneyway Show. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends, leave a comment, and drop a review. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Friday for more inspiring journeys. Who knows? Your story might be next.